Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: does Michael play it in court after tricking Willow into recorded Daisy stalker confession? According to General Hospital teasers, Michael Corinthos might deceive Willow Tate into making a recorded confession about stalking Daisy Gilmore and use it against her in court. Is the possible recording going to be a big surprise at the hearing? Although it took him some time to piece the pieces together, Michael now believes Willow is the most likely suspect in the stalking of Daisy and the eerie Sasha Gilmore Corbin. Since we all witnessed Willow use such a spooky strategy, GH viewers are aware that Michael's theory is accurate. Willow should bear the consequences because it was her responsibility that Sasha and Daisy ran off out of town. There is no evidence of Willow's unsettling behavior, though, because she stayed clear of the Quartermaine property's surveillance cameras. Michael will require some proof if he truly intends to use this information for anything. It's not like Michael can build a trap and try to catch Willow in the act because Sasha and Daisy are no longer in Port Charles. Perhaps forcing Willow to make a confession is the only way to demonstrate what she did. In order for Michael to take advantage of Willow's desperation, she would do almost anything to see Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. It's simple to picture Michael calling Willow in for a cool-headed conversation and pretending that he would be open to allowing her to come see the children. Michael may emphasize the value of accountability and trust before tactfully bringing up his stalker worries with Willow. Perhaps Michael might persuade Willow to come clean about her actions as part of the ruse so that they may move past the past and move on. Willow might reveal her baby stalker guilt as a result of some manipulation, and if Michael surreptitiously films it, he may be able to throw the final curveball in the courts. If Michael gets a confession about Daisy stalking, he might have an advantage even if the Jen Sidwell bribery incident throws him for a loop. According to General Hospital teasers, Michael and Willow will continue to argue, so we'll keep you informed of any new developments pertaining to the court. GH spoilers: everything is ruined by Jocelyn's potentially fatal injury sustained during the Dalmatia mission. According to General Hospital spoilers, there were strong hints that Jocelyn Jack's mission to Dalmatia would go horribly wrong. After all, Jack Brennan sent Anna Devane information on Joss's recon mission with Vaughn during the Tuesday, August 5th episode. We should discuss the former WSB spy's concerns about the young girl's safety and potential problems. Disaster foreshadowed by Anna Devane's concern. Fans are well aware that Anna's worry may be a sign of an upcoming catastrophe. Although Brennan considers this recon trip to be standard, Anna warned him that even the simplest WSB assignments frequently go awry. The warning is a clear, surefire indication that something would go wrong, but Brennan dismissed it. Additionally, Brennan is the one who recruited Joss behind the back of his lover, Carly Spencer, thus if Joss were wounded, Brennan would be devastated. Mystery Boss is still a mystery. Jocelyn is ultimately going to the Five Poppies Resort, which is where Dr. Britt Westbourne is located. Since Jocelyn and Vaughn are using aliases, it's likely that Britt won't recognize her and that she will report back to her unidentified supervisor. She will want to keep Joss safe, and even though Britt doesn't think much of this unknown man, he might be harmful, even though they seem to get along well. Although Brennan is keeping an eye on things, he is unable to be with Joss and Vaughn all the time. Could Britt's boss take matters into his own hands if she informs him Jocelyn is a fake? Could the thugs of this mysterious ruler attack Joss? What happens if she is surrounded? What happens if she is shot? How would Jocelyn explain the scenario to her mother if it occurs? Even a kidnapping could result in life-threatening injuries. On her endeavor, may Jocelyn get hurt? Leave a comment below. Steve Burton of General Hospital may have a head injury in the future, according to his most recent Instagram post. According to General Hospital spoilers, Steve Burton is extremely busy. Burton balances a lot of things, including his role as Jason Morgan on the ABC serial Opera, his weight loss and mindset coach program, and his daily drama podcast with fellow GHer Bradford Anderson. In order to balance the multiple hats he wears, he must also make efficient use of his workday. While on set at GH, Burton just shared a video on social media regarding his weight loss and mentality coaching program. However, a behind-the-scenes look has fans wondering what kind of problems Jason Morgan could face soon. Steve Burton is the most cheerful person. Any fan who follows Steve Burton on Instagram is aware that his posts are consistently cheerful, uplifting, and motivational. In a recent video post on his Instagram stories, he discussed his weight reduction and attitude coaching program and urged people to put their health first in order to prioritize themselves. Given the General Hospital sign in the background, it is obvious that Burton was outside the GH studios. One thing was obvious: he had a goose egg on his forehead. It's unclear if he had finished filming for the day or was taking a break. Is this an injury to Steve or Jason? It appears like Steve or his character Jason suffered a severe fall or impact, as seen by the bump on his forehead. Burton might have had a little mishap in real life, but if he recorded this video while filming, Jason might have been the cause of the goosebumps and he was only filming makeup. Fans should prepare for some drama in the form of Jason suffering a head injury, but it's difficult to say when Steve actually made the video. Given the neurological issues his character has previously experienced, which resulted from the drunk driving accident he was in 1995 at the hands of his brother, AJ Quartermaine, it would be unfavorable if Jason were to suffer a head injury. However, Jason is constantly under attack, so viewers will have to keep watching the daily drama to find out what happens to this character next. GH spoilers: Brit's predicament suggests that she may still be suffering from untreated health issues. As Brit Westbourne's confirmed survival suggests a devastating twist, her Huntington's condition is still developing, possibly making her homecoming temporary. General Hospital spoilers reveal that fans are dealing with a bittersweet news this week. Jason Morgan was determined to find out how Brit might be alive after he saw her in a Paris airport. The bargain was completed when he heard her voice in the background of a call with Pascal at the hotel where Brit is staying, reportedly in captivity. But she's barely healthy only because she's alive, isn't she? Instead, her circumstances imply that she staged her death to protect her loved ones from witnessing her deteriorate. Facebook fans are inconsolable. Will Brit's limited time result in further heartache or closure? Brit's return casts a shadow over her ongoing battle. Fans weep over evidence that Brit is regrettably still battling Huntington's disease, which was revealed by Jason's unrelenting pursuit. Her dependence on medicine and Pascal's careful attention in Dubrovnik suggests that she is still dealing with health problems rather than fully recovering. Similar to her previous sacrifices, Brit may have staged her death in 2023 to protect Liesl Obrecht and her close friends, including Brad Cooper, from the agonizing decline. Similar to the emotional toll of other recent losses on the show, such as Dex Heller, Bobby Spencer, and Sam McCall, this truth has left the fans devastated and wondering if her time is limited. Will Brit get sick before she can see her loved ones again? It was a selfless act to spare loved ones pain. Brit pretends to be dead out of mercy as she hunkers down in her hotel room, taking her medications while Pascal watches. In a selfless echo of her bravery against Heather Weber, her seclusion this week suggests that she decided to go in order to shield her loved ones from seeing her deteriorate as Huntington's disease torments her. Fans of GH worry that her kindness denied her family closure, which may cause her relatives and friends to become resentful after learning about it. Carly Spencer might beg Jason to stop trying to find her, but if Brit's condition worsens, her return might be a heartbreaking farewell. Will her deceit be forgiven by her loved ones, or will it cause further pain? Will Brit's limited time result in heartache or healing? Brit's unresolved Huntington's disease casts a shadow over any delight as GH examines her precarious comeback. Will her brief absence leave her with remorse, or will it mend her past relationships with Liesl and Jason? While the supporters are fervently hoping for a miraculous cure, they are also prudently preparing for impending disaster. What are your thoughts? Will Huntington's be defeated by Brit? Is there a remedy in progress? Is the WSB determined to infiltrate Professor Henry Hank Dalton's covert project? Inscribed into the lines of his face and the steel in his eyes, Jason had always operated according to a code, a set of principles that guided every action he took. Although he didn't say much, what he did say was significant. Devotion. The truth. Above all, he believed in justice. He was revered, feared, and frequently misinterpreted in Port Charles. However, Jason always knew where he stood, regardless of how hazy the lines got in the hospital hallways or the criminal underworld. His quiet but profound contempt for Dr. Liesl Obrecht was one area where he remained steadfast. She was hardly the only one in Port Charles who had transgressed moral standards. Because of what she had done to Robin, a woman Jason regarded as family, it was personal. Under the pretense of necessity and research, Liesl had imprisoned Robin, torn her from her mother, her child, and all those who loved her, and kept her in prisoner. No matter how the community attempted to reframe Liesel, softening her edges, presenting her as a grandmother figure, or portraying her as deserving of redemption, Jason didn't care. He didn't believe it. Jason and Liesel's tension was simmering rather than dramatic or exploding. Jason was an expert at making silent decisions. He never shouted or had to level accusations since his piercing gaze was frequently sufficient. Although she frequently feigned not to notice, Liesel, who had become entangled with every conceivable form of disdain, did. Every time Jason would nod at someone else but not at her when they were in the same room, she sensed it. Jason's silence was more devastating in Port Charles than a formal indictment. This contempt was rooted in philosophy and wasn't merely sentimental. Jason would never be able to comprehend or forgive the choices that Liesel had taken. Although some claimed he had made his fair share of unethical choices, being employed by the Corinthos group wasn't exactly a moral high ground. Jason was always committed to helping those who couldn't help themselves. That fundamental principle had been broken by what Liesel had done to Robin. Everyone who had grieved for her was affected by the wounds she left behind, not only Robin. Like a scar that never fully healed, Jason clung to that reality across the years and atonement attempts. Nevertheless, unusual people made strange bedfellows in Port Charles. Jason wasn't always in control of who he sided with. Liesel's abilities had been required at times. Tolerance was required in certain situations due to medical crises, links to information that only she had access to, or even her shaky relationship with Britt, whom Jason had loved in his own way. There was always a line that stayed uncrossed, even though he would take a step back and let things unfold. He didn't join her in breaking bread. He kept his secrets from her. He also didn't forget. But the town's memory was fleeting. The desire to believe in redemption was strong. As a mother and gallery owner, Ava Jerome was essentially recreated. Nina, who had been at odds with almost everyone, had managed to find ways to go past them and win second chances and alliances. Liesel, too? It was the same wave that she had joined. She offered medical advice, joked, and flirted. She did her part. Generally speaking, the town complied. Not Jason, though. It wasn't hate because it wasn't hot enough. It was absolute, clinical, and frigid. He would never pursue her. He would never pursue retribution. But more devastating than any threat he could ever make was the fact that he would never trust her. Britt was the reason it was more complicated and challenging to traverse. Few people ever see how open Jason had been to her. She had pushed him, recognized his humanity, and encouraged him to have fun. Britt was also the daughter of Liesel. Though he seldom ever displayed it, the contradiction of it tormented him. Britt had hoped that her mother was more than the awful things she had done. Jason never questioned her about it because he didn't want to offend her by bringing up the past. However, Jason found himself staring at Liesel once more after Britt left, presumed dead, but the mystery remained, and couldn't help but think that perhaps some individuals weren't worthy of the opportunity to change. Jason wasn't the only one who harbored animosity toward Liesel. Although they each had their own reasons, Carly, Sonny, and even Michael were cautious about her. The general mistrust only strengthened Jason's feelings, even though he didn't act only on theirs. In town, however, there were shifting undercurrents. Fragments of Liesel's past were resurfacing, files were being analyzed, cases were being reopened, and there were rumors of unburied secrets. When Britt's name appeared in the WSB's files again, Jason was drawn back into the fold and had to admit that Liesel could know more than she was admitting. That her connections to Britt's disappearance and Professor Dalton might not be as harmless as her more recent persona implied. With measured words and an even tone, he approached her warily. She feigned not to see the razor under his cool exterior. The way Jason stood just near enough to make her uncomfortable and the way he asked questions without asking were too obvious for Liesel to ignore. She struck up a conversation. He didn't answer. He inquired about Britt's research when he did speak. Where had it taken them? What was it that Dalton wanted from her? Liesel pretended not to know, then gradually started to piece together what she did know. She didn't tell anyone that the research had been more experimental. Britt has been searching for a treatment for a number of neurological diseases, not just Huntington's. She had kept some things from even her mother. Jason put pressure on her. The sharpness of Liesel's accent thickened as she shot back, pride burning in her breast. If you're hiding something, if you prevented her from reaching out to me or anyone, I would never. Jason said without blinking, was my child. You kept Robin confined. She fell silent when he said, don't act like you're incapable. For once, she didn't have a scathing response as she gazed at him with moist eyes. Perhaps because she was aware of his correctness. Or perhaps because she was worn out. Jason, however, noticed it. That guilt. That brief rift in her armor. He didn't soften, though. He declared, I'll find out what happened to Britt. With or without your help. He turned to leave. As usual, Port Charles would continue to revolve. History would be altered, people would change sides, and the distinction between hero and villain would repeatedly become hazy. However, Jason Morgan? He would never forget. Additionally, some of the wounds in his world never fully healed, instead, they were buried behind years of silence and the weight of unspoken words. However, he believed that Liesel Albrecht would always be limited to her demonstrated self. And there wouldn't be any forgiveness if she was involved in Britt's disappearance. Not even in a town that finally forgave nearly everyone. Rena Sofer from General Hospital is back at GH. Lois is back even though the actress moved to New York. According to General Hospital spoilers, Lois will return even though the actress has moved to New York since Rena Sofer is not finished at GH. Sod maintains that Sofer will continue to be a regular player who travels for upcoming appearances, despite a recent allegation by Daytime Confidential that he was out at the ABC soap opera. Actually, within the next month, Sofer will return to Los Angeles to shoot. Rena Sofer and her husband, Sanford Bookstaver, recently announced on Instagram that they are moving from Los Angeles to New York with all of their puppies. After nearly 35 years in Los Angeles, it's time for Spookstaver and I to leave. Yes, I'm crying. In her article, Sofer wrote, I met the man of my dreams, had my kids, and built an amazing life in LA. Sofer also thought back on her career in show business to date and was incredibly appreciative of the friendships she had formed. I made all of my lifelong friends and achieved incredible success in the business, which I will sadly miss. Above everything, my brother at David Sofer 53 and my best friend at Aaron Cabral. I appreciate you being who you are, LA, Sofer continued. Sofer is eager to experience a new pace of life and a fresh start, even though she loved her time in Los Angeles and created some amazing memories there. And now on to more peaceful and quiet days. We are leaving for our new life and are at Rivian Official with our 5 dogs in the rear. Sofer said, #say goodbye to Hollywood. In the video that they shared, Sofer and Bookstaver were beaming with happiness, so they most definitely didn't want anyone to dampen their spirits. Sofer made it obvious that any offensive remarks would result in her blocking you because of this. Instead, Sofer received a ton of encouraging remarks from her former co-stars as well as fans. It's encouraging to see Sofer pursuing her goals and doing what brings her joy. Naturally, it's also wonderful to hear that Sofer intends to continue playing Lois and commuting as needed. This is particularly relevant given that Lois' plot is currently in a difficult limbo. Lucy Coe's trick caused Lois to unintentionally ambush Brooke Lynn Quartermaine on Home and Heart when she reappeared in late July. Even though she secretly missed Lois and felt empty after the incident, Brooke Lynn fired Lois and refused to provide her mother the forgiveness she so desperately wants. Still, Lois made the decision to return to Bensonhurst and bide her time until Brooke Lynn changed her mind. Perhaps forgiveness is in store for Lois, as Rena Sofer has more filming days ahead of her. Stay in for updates on all the turmoil to come, as General Hospital spoilers indicate that Brooke Lynn will have a lot of other messes to deal with in the meanwhile. Spoilers for General Hospital, will a key character die a startling death in the WSB Dalmatia mission? According to General Hospital spoilers, viewers are unable to get over the possibility that a significant character may die while on this WSB mission in Dalmatia. Jocelyn Jackson Vaughn's recent departure for Dalmatia alarmed Anna Devane, but Jack Brennan dismissed the whole situation as a recon expedition. Does Anna's concern portend something? Could Vaughn have a negative event? Recently, General Hospital has been on fire, therefore a stunning death is necessary to maintain the momentum. Having said that, every indication suggests that Jocelyn may be harmed and will be, emphasizing the dangers of the WSB and the extent of Brennan's risk to Joss. The drama would also increase if a character died suddenly. Although Joss is too steady a character to pass away, her partner might be able to. Vaughn is, after all, a disposable figure and new to the canvas. He would be the ideal option because, despite their sparks, he and Joss don't really have a strong romantic bond. Even though Jocelyn and Vaughn weren't dating, there was something between them. If Vaughn died, Jocelyn would be devastated, especially if he gave his life to save her. Joss would mourn the loss of her third love interest, Vaughn, and it may also trigger painful memories of losing Oscar Nero Quartermain and Dex Heller. Having said that, it appears that this Dalmatia mission will not only bring tragedy and drama, but it might also be the catalyst for Brennan's recruitment of Jocelyn and the revelation of her WSB affiliation, which would put Brennan, Jocelyn, and Carly Spencer in a difficult predicament. Carly will be furious at the deception and cover-up by Joss and her lover, Brennan, if the truth about Brennan's involvement in Joss becoming a WSB agent, getting injured, and losing her partner is revealed. Is Vaughn going to be killed in this mission to Dalmatia? Is he the reason Carly finds out about Joss's true identity? Anna tries to stop Emma, Drew makes advances, and Cody and Ava have a kiss. Drew put a lot of effort into persuading Sidwell and Martin to return Willow's children. Additionally, Anna exploited her position of authority to thwart Emma's ambitions. Sidwell received the news he had been expecting from Lucy, and Ava was irritated by Rick and Elizabeth's closeness, which nearly drove her into Cody's arms. To learn how it all transpired, continue reading. At the hospital, Elizabeth handed a folder to Rick that included Willow's employment history and a list of employees who had consented to testify on the distressed nurse's behalf. Unaware that Nina was covertly funding his fee, Liz praised Rick for kindly taking up the visitation appeal pro gratis. When Ava got there, she saw the ex-partners laughing together. Ava went over to Rick and Liz and asked if she could leave Lucas, who was living with her, a garage door opener. Liz offered to take the gadget for Lucas and then went out to see patients. When Ava asked Rick to join her at the pool to test their relationship, he said he was too preoccupied with Willow's case. He was about to lean in and kiss Ava when Elizabeth interfered, setting up another character witness. Ava left without saying goodbye, upset that Rick had picked Liz over her, and decided to meet Cody instead. Later, when hiking the Norwegian fjords, Liz's boys sent her a picture. She complained that she didn't have enough spare time to paint the pictures they were providing her, even though she would really like to. As he pondered that maybe she will find a patron or donor to finance her desire, Rick and Liz shared a private moment. Disappointed that his insurance would not cover any further sessions, Martin thanked Stella for connecting him with a physical therapist elsewhere at GH. The patient advocate resolved the insurance issue on Martin's behalf because she was upset that a patient in need was being ignored. Ultimately, Stella informed Elizabeth that Rick had put her on Willow's list of character witnesses and said that it appeared the attorney would stop at nothing to help Liz. Hot and bothered, Felicia invited her stepson to a cookout that Mac was organizing after running across Cody at the pool. Cody initially refused to go after finding out that Molly was also invited, but he finally consented for Mac's sake. When an irate Anna showed up with Outback, Gio and Emma were working on their plan for him to break into Professor Dalton's lab. Since the dog had been barking a lot in the flat, Anna informed the teenagers that since her building does not permit pets, they would be expelled if just one neighbor reported them to the HOA. Anna reluctantly agreed to take Outback to the police station with her because the kids were both tied up, but she became suspicious when Emma explained that she would be home late because she needed to clean up after the lecture and that Gio was going to PCU after his shift as a show of support. When Anna saw Felicia, she confided in her friend that she was afraid her granddaughter would approach Professor Dalton. After that, Anna called the fire chief and used her influence as the police commissioner to have the building examined and the lecture cancelled. When Ava later came to meet Cody, she first spotted Trina. They discussed Rick's absence and agreed that Ava was deserving of better. As Cody and her tutor stared one another across the deck, Trina saw a flicker of attraction between them. Ava was moved when Cody called Rick a fool for not wanting to spend time with her. They then played flirtatiously with ice cubes in the sweltering August heat, and Ava kissed him back. While spending time with Emma, Trina revealed that Joss had texted her from Australia once more, requesting that Emma refrain from working with Dalton. Trina said that if Joss felt the professor was bad news, Emma should reconsider working with him. After that, Emma got a call informing her that Dalton's lecture had been cancelled. Emma, unfazed, told Gio that she would set up another chance to enter the facility since she was certain her grandmother was responsible. Jordan updated Laura in the mayor's office at the doghouse that she had not yet discovered any illegal activity related to Sidwell's company that they could use against him. Jordan conveyed her hypothesis that her boss might be using Marco to run the illicit portion of his firm when Laura questioned whether anybody else was assisting him. The mayor asked how long it would take Sidwell to involve his COO in the inner workings of his company. Jordan thought that, despite her experience in law enforcement, she needed to give Sidwell confidence that she wouldn't report any criminal activity. Laura was worried that there was only so much the mayor's office could do to safeguard her. Jordan said that she was prepared to assume the risk in order to safeguard Port Charles. Anna was the next person to stop by Laura's office. She was there to inform the mayor about the PCPD's investigation into Marco's disappearance and the Charlie's fire. She clarified that there was no crime as long as Marco maintained his flat-tire defense and that the police had no evidence to support their suspicions that Sidwell was responsible for the fire. Mabel, the HOA president at Anna's building, interrupted their meeting because she wanted to report the police commissioner for owning a dog. Outback exposed herself when she started barking in response to the recording of her on Mabel's phone, even though Anna initially rejected the charge. Laura, who had previously dealt with the problematic woman, advised Anna to find Outback a new house because she was certain Mabel wouldn't overlook the problem. Clearing the air in order to make amends for her part in Rocco learning the truth about Sonny's birth, Brooklyn invited him to the Q mansion. Speaking candidly about her remorse, Brooklyn acknowledged that she had originally intended for Rocco to locate the file but has since altered her mind. Brooklyn, who was relieved that Sonny trusted her, added that the deception team chose not to present the police with the financial records pertaining to his shady investment. Brooklyn expressed her belief that Sonny would never voluntarily expose deception to something unlawful, reaffirming their tight relationship. Drew makes demands. When Drew arrived at an outside cafe where Sidwell was waiting for Lucy, he demanded that he give up anything he had on Sonny. Not wanting to upset Sonny, Sidwell declined, correctly assuming that Drew wanted to pursue Corinthos in order to reach Michael and assist Willow in regaining her children. Jens shot down the threat when Drew threatened to ruin Sidwell's life if he didn't comply. Before departing, Drew reminded Sidwell of his request and thanked Lucy for keeping the news of his postponed wedding off of anyone's social media accounts. Lucy had thought that her lunch with Jens would be more private, so she was taken aback to hear that Jordan would be joining them for a work lunch. The two admitted that they were in a romantic relationship. After Jordan joined them, Lucy said she needed to know what the COO was required to reveal before she could share an update on deception. Lucy revealed that Deception had chosen not to report potential financial irregularities to the police with information about potential financial impropriety with one of their investors, who had since sold his stake in the cosmetics company, after Jordan clarified that everything they discussed was covered by her NDA and Sidwell defended her discretion. Lucy explained that she, Tracy, and Brooklyn had voted against telling the police, and Sidwell seemed delighted with his accurate guess that the investor was Sonny Corinthos. Close call. Alexis informed Christina at lunch at the Metro Court that her strategy of separating Ava and Rick was effective. She told her daughter about her transaction with Ava, but Christina and Alexis concurred that they weren't safe until they noticed that the car and security footage were destroyed. Christina acknowledged that she felt horrible about enlisting Molly in the plot, particularly since she believed Cody had a deep affection for her sister. After Molly arrived, Alexis informed the girls of her plan for Scout in the hopes that it would allow them to spend more time with Sam's kid. After speaking with Sidwell, Drew insisted that Martin take over the case from Rick and called Martin to the restaurant to discuss Willow's impending hearing. If Willow was willing, Martin agreed to represent her, but he cautioned that the odds were against her due to her courtroom meltdown. Drew insisted that helping Willow regain custody wasn't about winning her thanks but rather about reminding her of their love for one another, therefore he tried to make Michael appear like an unfit parent or to find evidence against Sonny. Alexis went up to Drew and Martin's table to talk to her ex-son-in-law about Scout while Christina and Molly were heading up to the pool. Alexis asked Drew if she and the girls could take Scout to see the ballet in New York City in September as Martin went to the bar to meet with Rick, who had engaged him as his personal lawyer to break up his relationship with Ava. But before they moved, Drew and his daughter had already planned to visit schools in Washington, D.C., that weekend. After arriving at the pool just in time to see the passionate moment between Cody and Ava, Christina stopped Molly and suggested they spend their time in the lake instead. Anna's ambush, Alexis's request to Jason, and Britt's audacious step. Let's start with Anna Devane's ambush, in which she corners Brennan and Carly. The police commissioner delivers a statement right before Carly gives her boyfriend a suggestion. "We have some unfinished business," Anna sneers, and it doesn't seem like she's joking either. In a fit of rage, Lulu Spencer storms into Laura Collins' office. Dante Falconeri is on the video, but I can't see the mayor. What she wants to see them for, Lulu asks him. The official written spoilers, however, also let us know that Lulu and Dante will be incensed about the information they discover. Spoilers for General Hospital indicate that Jordan Ashford and Curtis Ashford have a sizzling reunion. Curtis is appreciative of his ex-boyfriend's assistance while sitting by the Metro Court pool. Curtis states in the upcoming episode's teaser film, "It wouldn't have happened at all if it weren't for you." Although they aren't together, they do have a lot of connection. The next transgression by Portia Robinson is only a question of time. Jordan might be able to seize the chance when it presents itself. Regarding Drew Kane's doubt, he speaks with Elizabeth Liz Baldwin. The congressman questions Liz's belief that Willow Tate would be better off without him. Plea from Alexis Davis. Alexis makes contact with Jason and makes a plea. As a desperate Alexis says, "Isn't this supposed to be about what Scout needs?" The right-hand man listens with concern. Alexis may want to apply for custody of Scout at this point. But rather than speaking to Jason, she should speak with Diane Miller. I don't see her going that far, unless she wants Jason to fire Drew. Fans may also anticipate seeing Britt lounging by the pool in tomorrow's show. She glances up at an invisible figure. Britt Cooley says, "You can tell him I'm on strike," while sporting sunglasses. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.